Child, the disappearance of Desiree is honestly one of the music industry's juiciest unsolved mysteries. Like, how did a hitmaker like Desiree just vanish almost overnight? Sure, there are plenty of official explanations, but for years, whispers have swirled about a much bigger name lurking in the shadows of her exit: Beyoncé. Yes, that Beyoncé. The story goes that a dispute over Kissing You, which BA recorded for her BD Deluxe Edition without proper clearance, may have set off a chain of events that quietly edged Desiree out of the spotlight. Allegedly, Dame Dash has got quite a bit to say about what happened there and how allegedly Jay-Z was responsible for the blacklisting. Damn, I hope y'all are seated because this is one hot cup of tea. Okay. One thing we cannot deny is that Desiree was one of those artists who genuinely sang to inspire positivity. And she even said that she lived for the moments where people would tell her that her songs inspired them.
People come up to me and say, that song was so inspiring, so encouraging, so positive, so empowering, and that makes me feel good.
Well, I know a lot of people today are probably not even familiar with Desiree, but I know y'all probably know the song that catapulted her, Feel So High.
You never know when you're writing a hit song. When I wrote Feel So High, I never thought to myself, yes, that's going to make me famous, it's going to be huge. It was a song that stemmed from feeling negative, really. At the time, I thought to myself, well, I've done the demos, I've got this far. Now what? I haven't sung in front of anyone, and that, for me, was the main thing that stopped me from taking the plunge much earlier.
You may also be familiar with her hit song Kissing You, which was a worldwide hit thanks to its placement on the Romeo and Juliet soundtrack. Her other hit, You Got to Be, hit the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at number 5. The song actually became the most played music video on VH1 and remained on the Billboard Current chart for 80 weeks. And during her prime, Desire also bagged a couple of great awards, including Best British Female Solo Artist. Now, as far as how she started out in the music industry, Desire was born in southeast London, England, in November 1968. Her mother is from British Guyana. Her father is from Barbados, and her parents introduced her to reggae, calypso, and jazz music when she was growing up. At the age of 22, and with no connections in the music industry, she was signed to Sony 550 after her boyfriend sent a demo to the label. She was immediately contacted and signed shortly thereafter. Yet somehow this super talented, gorgeous woman was pushed out of the industry and totally blacklisted. Well, I know it shouldn't come as a surprise at this point, but allegedly Desire's disappearance had a lot to do with her legal battle with Beyoncé. What happened was that Beyoncé covered her song Kissing You for her album Birthday, retitling it Still in Love, Kissing You, and Queen Bey gave herself writing credit. In fact, a deal to use the song did not pan out. But Beyoncé went ahead and re-recorded the song and even made a video. Now, when Desire realized what happened, she took bait to court and sought $150,000 in damages and for the distribution of the song to be essentially stopped. Okay, see, when it comes to Desiree, that was not the first time another singer stole from her. In 1998, she was awarded an out-of-court settlement granting her 25% of the publishing royalties from Janet Jackson's song, Got Till It's Gone, which sounded very similar to Desiree's Feel So. But according to Desiree, her legal fight with Janet Jackson had more to do with principle than cash. As she said, "My aim wasn't to get money out of her. It was purely for justice to be done and a settlement to be reached, recognizing that she had borrowed from my work and not given me credit. As I've always said, it would have been fine if she'd asked permission first." And this is happening with a lot of other artists' work when it comes to sampling. So when Beyoncé essentially did the same thing to her, she fought back. And she fought back hard. But here's the problem. In an industry where megastars are money machines, going up against one of the biggest rising names in music is like painting a target on your back. Word is that fight got her quietly blacklisted. And just like that, the radio spins, the label support, and the industry invitations all dried up. Basically, standing her ground might have been morally right, but it came with the ultimate career cost. Based on reports, her record label, Sony, dropped her. And they gave her a very weird reason about why her album flopped, which was insane considering she had many other hit songs. Like seriously, one underperforming album and suddenly all her past hits don't count. We're talking about the woman who gave us You Got to Be, Kissing You, and Life. Songs that not only charted but also became cultural touchstones. I mean, dropping Desire over one lukewarm album when she had already proven she could sell records, fill venues, and make songs that live for decades was short-sighted at best and downright foolish at worst. If anything, she'd earned the right to experiment, regroup, and come back stronger. Clearly, someone was working even harder behind the scenes to make sure Desiree was blacklisted. And allegedly, Dame Dash has been saying that the person was Jay-Z. Well, the media also tried to come up with other reasons why Desire stopped singing. Like how apparently Desire was also struggling with low energy due to an underactive thyroid. And when her record company, Sony, realized that she had limitations because of her diagnosis, they decided they no longer wanted to work with her. Also, as much as Desire always owned the stage, apparently or allegedly, she also suffered from serious anxiety that also affected how much music she released.
I kind of had very strong contradictions in myself, conflict I would say, not contradictions, about singing. Because even though the desire was there, it terrified me to do it. And still, now, I'm paralyzed with nerves when I have to go on stage. When I have to sing in the studio, I have to let everybody leave.
If you ask me, it's not like these struggles had to be a career ender with a team that believed in her. Desiree could have still been delivering soulful hits while protecting her mental and physical health. Instead, it seems like the industry just saw obstacles, not the talent behind them. Anywho, it has also been said that urban radio did not want to play her songs because allegedly her sound wasn't black or urban enough to be played alongside other black artists. Like, excuse me, we're really out here gatekeeping vocal excellence because it didn't come with a certain kind of beat. The irony is wild. The same industry that loves to brag about diversity suddenly couldn't figure out where to place a soulful, chart-topping black woman because she wasn't packaged the way they wanted. Honestly, it was giving weird double standards energy. And again, someone had to be behind that. You know, Desire even addressed her frustration when she said, "The definition of black music needs redefining." You have artists like Jimi Hendrix and Tina Turner that urban radio wouldn't play. And even Shade and Seal, they claimed they were too pop. So, what are they trying to say? That black musicians aren't allowed to express themselves in a variety of styles, as in jazz? Does the fact that I speak from my own experience as a black and as a female count for nothing? In the interview, she also commented on the marketing confusion and arbitrary genre boxes that were imposed on her and how the label suggested rebranding her for a different audience. She said the record company kept saying, "Well, you're not black enough for black radio, and you're not really contemporary pop. Maybe we'll approach you through the AC route." And I said, "Well, what's AC?" That's like adult contemporary. I have to get used to all these niches and names. Well, there were also other things that discouraged her, like how her song Life ended up on more than a few worst lyric ever polls thanks to the verse that went, "I'm afraid of the dark, especially when I'm in a park and there's no one else around." Oh, I get the shivers. I don't want to see a ghost. It's a sight that I fear. 1 minute, and the next being everyone's punchline because you dared to rhyme ghost with toast. Brutal. But honestly, that was hardly a reason to vanish from the scene. Plenty of artists have dropped questionable bars, and some of them are still selling out stadiums. Honestly, when you put it all together, the radio snub, the life lyric backlash, the health struggles, and the so-called album flop, none of it really adds up to a full-on disappearance. Artists have survived way more and bounced back bigger than ever, which is why some people are convinced that there was something else at play. The Beyoncé theory. I mean, we are talking about someone who has been slammed several times for stealing from other artists and then being behind their blacklisting together with her husband. For instance, Beyoncé literally allegedly stole the go-go sound from Ari after Rich Harrison, who was producing songs with Ari, was hired to work with Beyoncé. And I know that because BA's first solo single, Work It Out, which was supposed to be her original sound, had a completely different feel, and it did badly.
I always said she was the original Beyonce. Beyonce stole her steez.
Oh, you think so?
Look at Crazy in Love video and look at A. Marie. Why don't we fall in love?
In addition, back in 2003, artist Jennifer Armour sent a demo of her song, Got a Little Bit of Love for You, to Beyoncé's record label, Columbia Records. Then, a few months later, she heard Baby Boy on the radio and thought the song sounded awfully familiar. Jennifer Armour even filed a lawsuit, but ultimately lost because she couldn't prove to the judge that Bey physically heard her song first. Guys, these are just some of the examples. So, it wouldn't be far-fetched to imagine that after whatever happened with Beyoncé, Des'ree was blacklisted. Allegedly, this is also what Damon Dash is trying to tell us, and he would know, given that he worked closely with Beyoncé and Jay-Z. Unfortunately, the move literally cost Des'ree her entire music career. In 2019, seemingly out of nowhere, Des'ree returned quietly and dropped a new single called Don't Be Afraid. But unfortunately, the song didn't do as well as her previous hits. Sad. As for what she ended up doing, Desire took up courses in ceramics, pottery, painting, and jewelry design before arriving at her other passion, alternative medicine, and she became certified as both a nutritionist and naturopath. But we still have questions. Was she punished for standing up for her rights as a songwriter? And if she'd played the game and stayed quiet, would she still be topping charts today? Or was her exit inevitable in a business where protecting the bottom line often outweighs protecting the artist? You let me know what you think in the comments section below.